Welcome to our Deep Deck Dive with DannyDonuts. This is a new recurring segment where we take a wacky idea from our comments section and have our resident expert DannyDonuts design a wild deck around the concept. You can submit a full deck list for him to dive into or just a kooky concept. He's going to try to make it into a deck that you're going to have a blast playing. And maybe it'll get you a few wins on the ladder. Danny prides himself in being a great wild deck builder, and we've set out to showcase how wild can be a deck builder's paradise. Each week, we'll be picking a deck archetype submitted by you, the viewer, in the comment section below, and have Danny build it. No matter how ridiculous it is, we give the deck to our resident wild expert DannyDonuts. He internalizes the theme of the deck, tears it down to its core, and rebuilds it to be a strong wild deck that's even more fun to play, and even potentially viable on the wild ladder.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the next installment of Deep Deck Dive with me, DannyDonuts. So this is a video where I take a crazy suggestion from the Tempo Storm audience and build a deck from that concept. Essentially making a meme deck that can hold its own when played against some of the decks that you'll find in the wild ladder. So before we jump into it, I just want to remind you that you can submit your idea, no matter how crazy it is, just by leaving a comment to this video. And when I'm starting to make the next one, I go through them and I pick one of your concepts and I build a deck around it. So we actually got a really good suggestion that I wanted to make a deck around by Purple Ferret Tom, who said do the Molten Giant OTK before the card is unnerfed when it goes to the Hall of Fame. So this is a pretty cool deck. If you don't know what the combo is, it uses Holy Wrath, which is a Paladin card, 5 mana, draw a card, and deal damage equal to its cost. So you point at your opponent's face and pray that you hit Molten Giant. So I think this will be a really cool deck to do, especially with the time constraint that we have, because it going from 25 back down to 20 is going to be a little bit harder to pull this off and have this really crazy fun combo happen. So just starting off, you want to definitely run Hemet Jungle Hunter, because Hemet destroys all cards in your deck that cost 3 or less. So with the idea of what we're going to start off with is that any cards that are 3 or... We're going to put all the cards besides these 5 as 3 or less cards. We're going to only choose 3 mana or less cards to put in the deck, so that we will always have the ability to Holy Wrath into Molten Giant after we play Hemet. So that's the cornerstone of what we're going to do for this deck. So let's jump into it and just start adding in some of these really good Paladin cards. So the issue that we want before we get into it is that we can't use Call to Arms, which is the most broken card in Paladin at the moment. But there are some other cards that we can use, like Righteous Protector, Shielded Minibot, and Muster for Battle. So those are just pretty standard for any Paladin deck in general at this point in Wild, so we definitely want to be running those. One of the things we want to be able to do is cycle through our deck really fast so that we can get Hemet and then just start having the chance to Holy Wrath. So we're going to want to run 2 copies of Divine Favor, just so that we can start cycling. We'll dump our hand on the board and then get more. Essentially, we're trying to be hyper aggressive so that we can maybe deal 5 points of damage and then just cycle for our combo. So we're going to look for a little bit more draw. Blessing of Wisdom is typically a relatively good card if we're going hyper aggressive, along with Potion of Heroism, just drawing cards. One of the other things that I like to do when thinking about decks like this is like what has been good in the past. And mechs are typically a cheap type of minion that you can put into decks like this that will be relatively consistent if you get a couple of them together. So we're going to want to run like Clockwork Gnome, Annoyatron, and Mech Warper. So, but just based off of this, all the draw and everything, I'm thinking that we have enough stuff that we might want to go a little bit off the deep end here. So I'm thinking right now we go to one of my favorite 1-mana Paladin cards, the Paladin Quest. Last of the Kaleidosaur. Cast 6 spells on your minions and you get Galvadon. So we already have the 2 from Clockwork Gnome, 2 from Blessing of Wisdom, 2 from Potion of Heroism. So that's 6 cards that you can play on your minions as spells. So I think that we want to base the deck around the last Kaleidosaur. so that we'll go, and our plan A for the deck obviously is to hit Hemet on 6 and then draw a Holy Wrath and then hit him with the Molten Giant. But our plan B is to go and put Galvadon out and cycle through our deck and try to get all of that together. And those two concepts synergize well together. So we will play the last Kaleidosaur as our card, and we're going to start building the deck based around that. So now we got to add in some cards that can target minions. Typically good cards are Blessing of Might, Divine Strength's pretty good. And then we want something like the Primal Fin Champion, the thing that gives you the spells back. What is that, 2 mana? Primal Fin Champion. Return any spells that you cast on this, and when it dies, they come back to your hand. So essentially we can just get the quest done quicker when we play that. So how many does that give us? That gives us 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Alright, so that's 10 if you count Clockwork Gnome, spells that target minions. I feel that's fair. The one thing that about Galvadon is that we're running a lot of taunts in the meta, so we might want to run a silence. So what do we have for silence? That's under 3 mana. I think that's just Iron Beak Owl, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think we can just cut an Oyochon for an owl because we want to have that in case we get a Galvadon out and your opponent plays like a Void Lord or something. So I think this is a good starting point. Be really interesting to see if we can pull this combo off at any point, but I'm really excited to see how it goes. So let's hop into a game. Alright, so we got Priest here. Alright, so this should be the screenshot of the video, because this is everything that we want, so. We keep Hemet because we want to get the combo off, but we also want to pull off the quest before Hemet and get like 5 chip damage in before that. Alright. So, you never want to play the quest when you can play a minion first. So, you gotta coin out the Mech Warper here. We gotta start getting our board presence going so that we can start the chip damage. The quest will be played when we can combo it with one of the spells. Alright, so we can combo it with spells at the moment, so. So hopefully, I mean, this is definitely a big priest based off of the Shadow Visions. So we want to just keep pressuring them, and we're probably going to win with the Molten Giant combo. Hopefully we don't run into something like a Barnes on 4. Barnes on 4 really get you. Alright, that's okay. We can just keep chipping. Divine Favor is really good. No Molten Giants. We got a Molten Giant. That's no fun. But at least we can start getting some of this stuff out. 5 mana, we don't need to worry about a clear yet. So we want to kill this at some point so that we can combo it with Primal Fin. If we can get one more spell, then we can complete the quest even if we hem it. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for one more spell. Silence. He silenced the wrong minion. That's cool. Divine Favor again. Okay, so we'll just start. So we're only at 1. And we'll have these technically count as 2. Let's count them as 2, so that's 4. This is a tough play. I also want to reversing switch the minion, but I don't think we can do that. I think we just have to do this. And then hopefully our next card is a spell. Worst case scenario, we can use one of the Holy Wraths on our own minions. Like, that's like worst case scenario. So, okay, we got a Holy Wrath. So, 50-50 to win the game. Here we go, 50-50 to win the game. Psychic Scream. Oh, no! No! Okay, so that's good at least. How many does he have? 6. That draws us 3. Well, we definitely Holy Wrath for 1. And just hopefully get the Giant. We got it! Yeah! That was great. Alright, so we are playing against a Warlock. So here, I just like this hand because we have the Primal Fin Champion after the Gnome. And Oyotron we don't really need. We want to draw some of the spells to just try to get the quest done as quickly as possible. Minibot's slightly better than Oyotron. Having the coin is really big in this matchup. The big thing against Warlock too is that you hit Molten Giant. If you get the Hemet into Molten Giant, you pretty much auto-win.
I am ready.
Alright, Blessing of Might, perfect. So let's see what we get. And we will play the spells next turn. They should get an inkling of what we're doing by playing this, but maybe we're just a meme deck that's playing like Stegadon and stuff.
Side effects.
But nope. We're actually playing the quest. Nice. Alright, so we have 2 spells back. Doomsayer. So we just want to dump our hand because of the Divine Favor. The taunt's typically better late game.
Nails up. Red alert.
So we're close.
Ailling.
Alright, Giant time. Alright, so this, then we'll coin, Divine Strength, and Divine Favor. Job's done. Alright, let's see what we get. Holy Wrath. And we still have a Molten Giant, but having the double Holy Wrath means we can never win with Hemet anymore. Because Hemet just draws the card the next time, unless we get some sort of mana reduction, but we're not running that. Double Giant. Alright. So, we only need 1. We can get the quest off now, so let's give the draw. Let's go draw. Let's go Galvadon. We gotta get stealth here. Stealth and Wind Fury. Alright, so there's stealth. And we're going to attack. Wind Fury. Attack. Attack. Alright. And we got the taunt. We got the silence for the taunt.
Aw, thank you.
We got it! Double! Galvadon! So that pretty much sums it up for this deep deck dive with me, DannyDonuts. I want to give a shout out to Purple Ferret Tom. Thank you for the deck idea for the OTK Molten Giant Hemet Holy Wrath combo. Had a lot of fun with it, and I got to put my own little twist on it with the last Kaleidosaur. So I thought it was all really good. Had a lot of fun. And if you want your crazy concept in the next video, just leave a comment below and I'm going to pick one for the next episode. See you guys then.
This has been the Deep Deck Dive with DannyDonuts. As always, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and join the discussion in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to let us know what you want Danny to dive into next. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to speed with all of Tempo Storm's Hearthstone news and content.